All right, good afternoon, team. I am coming on real quick to talk about the anatomy of a skincare party or a glamour party or a skincare class or an appointment, however we want to word that. But more and more of you are starting to have appointments face to face, which I'm really proud of you and I'm super excited about. But I thought we would talk about traditionally how we structure that, why we do it like that, which parts are most important, and the importance also of practicing. Because as much as we want it to be very natural and flow naturally and be your own words, also there is something to be said for practicing those kinds of skills. There are definitely people in Mary Kay that have perfected the skincare party, that the way that they deliver it, the way they present it, the things that they're bringing to the table, so to speak, are working for them. And that is because they've done it over and over and over and over, and they've seen what works and they've honed it. They've gotten rid of the things that don't work and they've focused on what does, and they've got their technique down pat. And that's what we all need to do. We need to figure out our way of doing an appointment and practice it and practice it and practice it. Okay. So, I think the next few lessons will be along these lines. I thought today we would break down the different parts, the different components of a skincare party. That's what I'll call it. The next one, probably talk about packing for the party. What do you bring with you? What are you bringing for the customers, for the hostess? What kind of inventory should you bring? That kind of stuff. Then talk about booking from the booking. How do you get more bookings so that the story continues? And let's see, I think I wrote a few other things down. Then I thought maybe I would show you a couple of sample parties. One is called a flip chart party and another is called a glamour party. But those are just some thoughts. But I just feel like now's the time to really talk about, well, what do you do when you're actually face to face with somebody? And let me start out by saying that sincerity always trumps knowledge. So you can honestly sit down with somebody right now and just have fun and say, I just got my kit, and just open up the mirrors and trays and squirt stuff on there and have them try it. They're going to have fun. They're going to feel important because they're one of your very first people, and you will sell. Okay. You don't have to be perfect to do it. And you can paralyze yourself when you think that. But you have to be mature enough to be able to distinguish that there's a difference between knowing that you can go out there as an amateur with a pure heart and do a great job anyway, but you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay like a baby Christian, the milk of the word. You want to eventually get to where you can eat the meat. You want to eventually get to where you are the one that other new consultants are saying, wow, she's got it down. Like, I love her skincare party. I want to do mine like hers. And that will happen. That will happen if you choose to hone the skill. So anyway, anatomy of a party. Obviously, the very first thing you need to do is to introduce yourself, and yet I forget to do that a lot. I think because we are kind of mingling and everything as people arrive, but when it is time to actually begin the appointment, so that's different than greeting people at the door, greeting, chatting with your hostess ahead of time. But when it's go time, you need to kind of officially start. And it helps you get in consultant mode, and it helps them realize that now it's time to pay attention. And typically you will have your introduction down pat because you'll say it so many times. Hi, I'm Michelle Fox. I've been a Mary Kay consultant for 20 years. And prior to that, I had been using Mary Kay even longer, blah, blah, blah. So you introduce yourself, tell just a little snippet about who you are. It's awesome if you can say something, either why you decided to become a consultant or something you love about the company. It doesn't have to be long or elaborate, but remember, you want to leave them with not only an experience with the product, but you want them to leave knowing you, having a relationship with you, but also understanding, why do they want to buy from this company? Why would they want to support this company as opposed to buying from Amazon or going to Walmart? What could you say to help them come down the path to recognize that not only is this a great product, but this is a great company, that this is a great supporting this is a good thing. And you can think about that, because there are so many things you could pull out. That it was a company created by a woman for women, with an opportunity for women, that we are environmentally friendly, that we support research for cancers that affect women, and we raise money for domestic shelters, or et cetera, et cetera. There are just scads of things. So you kind of feel like, what was the thing that kind of you noticed, like, that's really cool. Like, I'm really proud of our company for doing that. I always mention the satisfaction guarantee. I just think that's really, really cool. So if I don't mention it here, I'll mention it eventually. But at the beginning, your introduction, you're introducing yourself. How long have you been with the company? Tell a little bit about yourself and what you love about the company. That's pretty short and simple. And thank your hostess. That's a great time then to give her a little gift. I usually give a smallish gift just because she's my hostess. Just like you bring a gift to a dinner party, just because she opened her home to you. This is not about how much you sell or if you book anything. This is just, hey, thank you for letting me come into your home. And so when you present it to her, that is also planting a seed in your guests that, oh, that's really cute. I kind of want one of those. Something that's really great is a little satin hands. And you could even say something like, if you wanted to tie it together, here is a deluxe mini satin hands. This is my gift for you for having us all together today. Thanks so much. I just really appreciate your time and you opening up your home. And just keep in mind, everyone, that if you book your second appointment today, and I'll explain that later, but if you book your second appointment today, you can get a full-size satin hands at half price. Whatever. I'm just saying that you can use these little moments to plant seeds. Like, look at how cute this is. One, you could get that if you're a hostess, you're putting that thought in there. And then you could also say, and if you want to get the full size, you could get it a deal if you book your second appointment today. Little opportunities here and there to sow the seed, so that by the time that you're ready to close the deal, that they have heard several times about a second appointment, getting together again, earning free products, discounts, that kind of thing. Okay? But you can give whatever you want. So like if you have a tiny oil-free eye makeup remover on hand, don't special order the little deluxe satin hands. Like, just use what you have as much as possible. Use what you have. I'm very much into that. I try to minimize costs and really think that through, okay? Like everywhere I go, every event that I do, I'm always thinking, how can I minimize my cost? Because yeah, it's great to sell $100, $200, $300, but how much did I spend? So you got to keep that in mind, okay? That's a little aside. So, okay. So anatomy of a party, you want to introduce yourself. So there is an actual structured introduction that you can actually practice so that you just can say that, really, really well. Then my personal thing, there's all different thoughts about this, but my strong feeling is that you want to jump in, that you want to get product on their face like right now, because their attention span is like this. And yeah, you can talk about the company, you can talk about the opportunity, you can talk about why you joined, you can talk about all kinds of stuff. but it starts to get a little dry and a little long, and you can tell that their attention starts to wane and drift. And so let's just keep it moving. And so if you right away say, okay, here we go, we're gonna we're gonna take your eye makeup off and start shaking that oil-free eye makeup remover and just go for it. I am less nervous when they are not looking at me anymore and they are putting stuff on their face and laughing and looking at each other and, oh, which one is it? Oh, this one. Because when all eyes are on me for like a super long time, it can get nerve-wracking, especially if in the back of your head you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to say this, or I said that wrong, or I said that weird. So it's nice to have them start to interact and do something so that not all eyes are on you. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. But, not everybody does it like that. Something to keep in mind is that as you are going through the steps, and again, you can be showing whatever the heck you want to show. So most of the time we show the Time-Wise Miracle set. But let's say it's a group of younger people and you're showing the Botanical Effects skincare. Go for it. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, you do you, boo. But what you want to keep in mind is to focus on the benefits, not the features. I almost said it backwards. The benefits, not the features. And that should give you a sigh of relief, bring a sigh of relief, because this is what I mean. When you're talking about oil-free eye makeup remover, it is much more effective and you will sell more if you say something like, you will never have the mascara stains on your white pillowcase ever again, ha ha ha, as opposed to our oil-free eye makeup remover contains da 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 and da 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 and da 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 da. Nobody cares. Like, nobody wants to know that. They really don't. And if they do, they can look it up online. But they want to know, what does it do? How does it feel? How is it going to help me? How is it going to impact my life for the better? When you do the satin hands, talk about, don't your hands feel fantastic? Wasn't that amazing? Don't you feel just like so pampered? That is more of an experience. You're talking about the benefits of that, as opposed to, it's not wrong to say that it has shea butter, there's white tea and citrus. Those things are not wrong. But the thing that really grabs people is, I started using this and I used to have all these spots right here and they are gone. I would say after 10 days to 2 weeks, they started to fade. 4 weeks, they were gone. Those kinds of statements are what get people's attention. And they're like, okay, wait, I've got spots. I need something like that. So start to think about each product. What do you love about it? And that's why it's so important that we're using the products head to toe. And so what I'm getting at also is that don't become worried about, I have to know everything Michelle knows. I have to know all that product information and the ingredients and all that lingo. You really, really don't. It's more effective to say, okay, that top circly thing on your tray, the stuff that has like the little pink dots, that's your cleanser. Go ahead and put that on. All I know is when I started using that, my skin looked brighter, clearer, better. And my sister asked me about a month later, what did I do? She thought I had Botox. Those kinds of things are going to go a lot farther than if you could just verbatim say, what the ingredients were and, all of the yada yada that's in the catalog. You know what I mean? So again, that's not bad to say that stuff, but you just want to, talk their language. Think about what trips your trigger. It's so much more interesting and exciting when you see before and after photos. And so what we're basically doing is giving like a before and after with our words. Like this, you're going to be amazed. You're going to love the results. Do you feel me? You can, I'm going to call something a crutch, even though it's not really a crutch. You can use a crutch, okay? And this is what I mean by a crutch. a lot of people, a lot of very successful Mary Kay people, I would have to say probably the most successful people in Mary Kay are very much in favor of using a flip chart. And most training that you officially get from Mary Kay will involve using a flip chart. So, and I call it a crutch, just kind of facetiously, because it is, let's see, I'm starting backwards. It's literally telling you what to say. So you have this set up on the table. I'm not going to be doing this for long, but anyway, I just want to show you something. Where does this start? Here we go. So it's set up on the table, and then they are looking at the pretty pictures, and then as you flip it toward yourself, heavenly day, where am I? I think I've been backwards. Hold that thought. Okay. Wow, that's weird. Okay, I guess it's opposite of how I thought. Anyway, so then as you are flipping the pictures, they are looking at the pretty pictures, but you have like a script that you can actually read verbatim. So if you feel like, I can't do this because I don't know what to say, I know I'll be too nervous, I will never remember, I haven't used it long enough to have any clever thoughts, I just, I need somebody to tell me exactly what to say. That is this, okay? And every step of the way, it will tell you, say this, then turn the page, and then say this. And you can go through the flip chart, and I customize it to myself. There are a couple of pages that maybe I don't want to do in the beginning, so I moved them to the back. There are some phrases that I feel are awkward, so I kind of blacked them out and rewrote them myself. So you can make this yours as well. But this, for many people, relieves their nerves. That this is something that is on the table, and it gives them something to, if you want to hold it, sometimes you need something to do with your hands, so that's a good thing. For me, I don't know why I'm like this, but that makes me more nervous. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. I just have to wing it. There's just me. I have to wing it. I need to kind of know what I'm going to say, but there's no way that I can read something verbatim. That is not me in any way, shape, or form. So I usually have like 3x5 cards to just kind of keep me on task, mostly so that I stay in order. But, if it's just a one-on-one, I usually don't have anything at all. But another thing is that we have these beauty books. So there's a lookbook, which is the big full color quarterly mailer. But there's something called a beauty book that's smaller. I actually threw mine all out because I realized they were all dated. I wish I wouldn't have done that. But the beauty book is smaller. It's about this size. And that is sort of a generic book that you can use at a skincare party. And it's just like, the first couple pages are about Mary Kay Ash, the lady. Then it's about the company. And then it goes through all the different skincare lines. And I don't think it even has prices. I think it's just talking about the benefits of the different lines. And it hits the big highlights like the microdermabrasion, the clinical solutions. And there's an insert that you can put in there with prices if you want to use that. But what I used to do back in the day was that I would have everybody looking at a beauty book. And so I'd say, okay, everyone, we're going to use this sort of like a workbook because I used to want to be a teacher. So let's open up to page 2. And again, since they're not looking at me, they're looking at the book, it helped my anxiety. And so I would say, so here on pages 2 and 3 is Mary Kay Ash, the lady. She's a real person. Did everybody know she's a real person? And then we kind of chat about that for a second. And I kind of point out a couple things on there, and then we flip, and I point out a couple things about the company, and we flip. And then when we get to the page that's about the skincare, then I start having them putting it on their face. But I've got this so that I can be reading what the benefits of the skincare are in case I forget. So this is my crutch. This was my thing that I used, early on. I haven't been doing that as much lately. Well, I haven't done things in person for like a year and a half, but I liked that a lot more. I don't I don't know why. It just, the flip chart just, I found that a lot of the times you're working with a small table and there's more people than they said there was going to be, and things are crowded and bulky and awkward, and just having that one more thing to manage was hard for me. And like I said, there's just no way I'm going to say something verbatim that's that long. So for me, either like little 3x5 cards or going through the beauty book, which this isn't a beauty book, this is about the size of one. So we used to call that a beauty book class. So that's a little side note. I have all kinds of side nuggets. Okay. But you really want to know what you're going to cover and stick to that. Keep it simple, sweetie. KISS. Keep it simple, sweetie. I used to think that, well, yeah, going through the skincare is great and all, but I love glamour. And so I'm sure that if I don't do glamour with these people, they're going to be disappointed or frustrated or angry. So I would do all the skincare, match their foundation, do a complete color look. So we were there for easily 2 hours before we even started closing, before we started writing up sales tickets. So it's 3 hours before the guests leave, another hour before I'm ready to totally pack up my stuff. That's too long. Okay, it's too long for you. It's too long for the hostess and the guests. They don't want to book another party with you because they've had their fill. They've had their fill of you. What you want to do is sort of whet their appetite. That's why we can legitimately say, in Mary Kay, we offer 2 initial appointments. The first one is traditionally a skincare appointment, and I like to show the Miracle Set 3D. That's what we're going to feature today. A second appointment would be more customized. We could either find a foundation shade that's just right for you, or do a color look based on your eye color, or if you wanted to talk about bath and body products, we've got lots of bath and body products as well. But there's just no way we could cover all of that today, or we would be here till midnight, right? And then everybody laughs. So you're, again, kind of sowing that seed that today is step 1, but there is a step 2. Something that is so true, and I didn't believe it early on, is that people are like sheep, and they will follow your lead. They will believe you. If you say this is how it's done, and you're nodding and smiling, they psychologically will think, oh, okay, that's how it's done. So if you go into a party thinking nobody's going to want to book with me, why would they want a second appointment with me? They just had an appointment and they just bought all the stuff they need. They don't need anything else. You will be conveying that. You really will. But if you go into that appointment saying, okay, this is how things are done. In Mary Kay, we get together 2 times. Today's your first time, and we are going to try skincare. We're going to get you all hooked up. I'm going to check in with you in about a week, make sure you still love it. And within the next 10 days to 2 weeks, then we get together for your second opportunity. Most people choose glamour, but you can, of course, choose a foundation match or body, whatever the heck. I always say body care. I don't know what to call it. You see what I'm saying? So like if you put that out there, like this is what we're going to do, then they're like, oh, okay, that's what it's done. That's what's done. It's amazing. It really is, the psychology behind it. But that is true, that there's too much to cover today. You need to get together with them again at some point to make sure what they got is working and to show them the rest of the line. It is your job as a consultant to expose them to as many products as possible. There are so many people that have tried Mary Kay at a party, but that's all they were ever exposed to. So to me, those consultants have done those people wrong because they have a very limited view of what Mary Kay is and what Mary Kay offers. It is our job to help our customers understand who Mary Kay Ash the Lady was, what the company's all about, what all the variety of products that we have, the 100% satisfaction guarantee. It is our job to show all of that to them. And we're not going to do that in one little chunk. So we want this to be an ongoing experience with them, okay? And if that's what's in your head, That's what's going to be conveyed throughout the appointment. And by the end, they're going to be expecting you to say, so when in the next 10 days to 2 weeks is a good time for you to get together with me again? You see what I'm saying? Okay. Then, so after you've gone through the products and everything, and they're loving it, and they're looking at each other, and they're having fun, it's always a great thing to ask everybody to turn to each other and say what they've noticed or what they love best, especially if you're doing color, like, oh my gosh, you guys, you all look so fantastic. Let's just give each other compliments. How about you turn to the person on your right and just tell her what you love best about her look? That is good on so many levels, because let's say I'm thinking, I kind of like this look. I think I like this lipstick. I like it, but is it too much? But then somebody turns and says to me, oh, I love that lipstick on you. I'll buy that lipstick, right? So but it also just sets that really beautiful, positive female empowerment tone where we are just there encouraging each other, supporting each other, saying good things. How many women have had a bad experience with women that are catty and backstabbing and cruel? And when they are in this place and it's positive and kind and encouraging, they love it. And that's one more reason for them to want to be with you again. So you want to foster that environment. So we compliment each other and go around and kind of talk about, oh my gosh, you've got to get that foundation. That is spot on. Like, that looks fantastic. And you chime in as well, because you are the expert. Your opinion carries a lot of clout. So after that chit chat, then we have what's called a table close. So if there's a group, we're typically at a table, or if you're doing kind of like a trunk show or an open house or something, you might be in a living room, but you are in front of the group. And the table close is where you're just kind of bringing it on home. You're wrapping it up, and it's more of a general closing. You also want to have an individual close, and I'll tell you about that in a second. So for a table close, I like to help them focus on what I think they should focus on. So oftentimes, if they've had no exposure to Mary Kay before, they are kind of overwhelmed, and their wish list might be way longer than their budget. So you can even say that. Like, okay, so we've come to the end of the show, and so I'm just gonna bring this party home. Let me just explain a few of the specials. I know some of you may be a little overwhelmed because this is the first time you've seen any of Mary Kay's awesome products, and you feel like, I just want it all, right? And let them be like, oh. You could talk about, well, for me and for many Mary Kay consultants, we feel that skincare is your number one priority. So if I had to say what I would start with the Time Wise Miracle set. And then you could hold that up and show that, talk about that. And something else that's interesting as far as psychology goes is you would say, our miracle set sells for $110. You don't say it's $110. You just say 110. You don't add the word dollars in there. Somehow it's smoother, it's more palatable when you don't use the word dollars. Our microdermabrasion set is $55. Our satin hands pampering set is $36. Okay. That's something that I had to, it's a hard habit to break. And sometimes I still do that. But it's just, generally speaking, in sales, you just don't say the word dollars. So something to keep in mind. So anyway, so you might have a closing sheet. I've got several closing sheets in our group. So there's probably a photo album of closing sheets. And what that is it kind of is a visual of what I'm talking about right now, where it shows, okay, set number 1 would be a miracle set. Set number 2 would be add the microdermabrasion. Set number 3 would be add the satin hands or something. And it might even show where there's 6 or 8 or 9 sets on there, and it says at the bottom, if you buy 3 sets, you can get the travel roll-up bag, half price, something like that, so it shows what their options are, what their buying options are, and then it gives some kind of special. Now, some closing sheets really give a lot of free stuff. So like every single box, every single set, they're saving, like $10, $15, $20, and they're giving away the roll-up bag or something. I do not recommend that for someone who's brand new because you're hardly making any money. That's more for somebody that's got like a ton of inventory and you're doing a lot of parties and you just want to move inventory like crazy. Maybe you're like trying to be on Queen's Quarter sales and you're at the very end and you're willing to give discounts because you're just trying to really move a lot of product. But I look for the closing sheet where I'm still making a decent amount of money, but there is a nice price point where there's some lower price options, some medium price options, some higher price options, and the people that get the higher price are also getting some kind of special bonus. So you will find certain closing sheets that become your favorite. And even that, it's important to get to know your closing sheet, get to know your Hostess program. Choose, pick 1 or 2 and use them a few times and decide, okay, this one seemed to do better. I'm going to stick with this one, and then stick with it for a while. Stick with it for, 5, 6, 7 parties. Don't just try it for one party and then think, oh no, that was a dud, because then you'll never get good at it. Because even understanding yourself, understanding your Hostess credit and your closing sheet and your special offers, the more you understand it and can repeat it and can say it without even looking at the sheet, the easier it is for you then to put it out there for them, to offer it in a very natural way. In sales, usually, if you're not using like an elaborate closing sheet, another way of closing things would be to offer 3 sets. And there's usually a small set, a medium set, and a large set. And so those that have been at the last couple of in-person events may recall that I have been showing like the little tiny $25 miracle set. And then I show the basic starter set, which is just the 4-in-1 cleanser and a day cream. And then the big set would be the miracle set for $110. So it goes like from 25 to like 56 to 110. So I felt like that was kind of a nice graduation of prices. But it, also you're kind of analyzing your audience too. So let's see. Why do we do an individual close? Okay. At that point, all heck can break loose because you've kind of said like, okay, these are the specials. And then if you just let things go, then it can get very chaotic and rowdy and samples hither, yon, everywhere, sales tickets lost, customer profiles misplaced, everybody's asking you questions at the same time. You lose track. You're talking to one person, but then somebody else interrupts you because she needs to leave. And so many opportunities slip through the cracks, and it's not professional. So it's a bajillion times better to say, all right, so the way I do things is that I want to chat with every single one of you one-on-one. It doesn't matter if you make a purchase or not. I just want to make sure that I'm answering your questions. I want to grab that customer profile that you filled out when you first got here. And then after we all chat individually, I'm finally going to give the door prize. Okay. That's the thing that's making them willing to wait through all the individual closes. Because let's say there's 6 of them, they might feel like, okay, well, I'll go first so that I can get out of here. But if they are waiting on the door prize, they'll stay. Okay. So I say that we're going to do an individual close. And then they're kind of like, oh, okay, I don't really know what that is, but whatever, she's the boss. And I have that set up elsewhere. So if this party's happening in the dining room, my individual close is in the living room where we can hear each other, where I can concentrate, where if she wants to say, she might need to tell me something very private, like, my husband lost his job. I love all this stuff, but there's just no way. And that's your opportunity to say, well, I've been there. I would love for you to try these wonderful products. Would you think that it's possible to have your friends get together like this, and then you could earn it for free? And you can just have a very genuine, private conversation with her. So anyway, I'm looking at the table. If there's someone that told me I've got to be out the door at 9 o'clock and it's almost 9 o'clock, and usually they do. If somebody's got to be gone, they usually keep saying it. It's kind of annoying. So if that person is there, I will grab her first. Say, Patty, I know that you are really in a hurry, so let's quick go over here, and I'll start with you. If that is not the case, then you want to start with your most enthusiastic person, your favorite person, the one that was the easiest, the one that loved everything, that asked all the questions, that told everybody that they looked fantastic, the one that you just know she was all about it. She's the first choice. Why? Because most likely she is going to make a purchase, and she's going to come back to the table with enthusiasm and be pulling it out and saying, oh my gosh, look, I got the lipstick, and then I decided to go ahead and splurge, and I got all 3 eye colors and the cheek color, and look, it comes in this cute little compact. I'm going to put it in right now. Click, 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 click. And then everybody's like, oh wait, what is that? How does that work? And she is creating a buzz for you. And you're over here doing your next individual close, and she is kind of doing your job, because she is then keeping that enthusiasm, actually drumming up even more enthusiasm. So you want to get your sparkler, the one who's really on fire. You want that person, okay? Take her over, and true to your word, you want to sit down, take a breath and say, so, did you have a good time tonight? How did your skin feel? I think you look fantastic. You really seemed like you were enjoying yourself. So, honestly, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. My goal here was to establish a relationship with you. I want to be your Mary Kay consultant for life. So whether you need something today or 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now, it's all good. But is there something that you would like to get started with tonight? Start writing it down. Close that deal, okay? Take her payment, be done. Finish that up. So you've got the sales ticket, money. If you've got product, you give her the product, that's done. Okay, now before you leave, I just real quick want to get a tentative date for that second appointment that we were talking about. So would you be more interested in doing something with glamour or something with like spa products? Give her a couple options, but say it in such a way that you're expecting a response. Don't say, do you want to get together again? Or were you going to go ahead and get it? Are you going to see me another time? Or, you got to say it with expectation. Okay, so I'm super excited for our second appointment, because this was just the tip of the iceberg. You got to experience the skincare, and good skin is what we all need to really look our best. But the next part, we get to put the icing on the cake, and I cannot wait, because those beautiful blue eyes, ears. So what looks good? Like I usually do appointments on Tuesday evenings or Saturday mornings. Which of those is better for you? Give people 2 options. It helps them make a choice. When you're wide open, it's very difficult for them to make a choice, and it makes you seem a little less professional. If I say, I would love to have a party with you, and I have got absolutely nothing on my calendar for the next 6 months, when do you want to get together? There's going to be that little thought like, does she know what she's doing? Why doesn't she have any parties on her calendar? But if you're like, okay, I have got Tuesdays and Saturdays set aside. Okay, this Tuesday is already booked, but so I've got Tuesday the 3rd, or, whatever. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, let me look at my calendar. They respond to you. If you are looking at your calendar, they'll look at their calendar. If you're giving them 2 options, they're going to pick one of those 2 options, or they're going to say, oh, I'm so busy, or, I just don't think my friends would really enjoy this. Those are objections. And we will have a specific training about overcoming objections, because most often, whatever they say at this point, if they make an objection, whatever they say is not really the objection. We'll talk about that. But so ideally, you get that thing booked. So she made a purchase, you got that done, you offer her the two different options. She says, I want to do glamour. I want to do it on a Tuesday night. So we said, okay, we're tentatively putting that down, and say tentative because you'll firm it up later, and say, all right, so one last thing is that I just love to choose someone at every party to give this special package to, and have like something in do I have one? I don't think I have one nearby. But I'll have like recruiting material in a pretty cello bag that's got like pink swirls or something on it, and say, what this is this just a little bit of information about becoming a Mary Kay consultant. Wait, don't say anything. I know that that's not anything you probably have ever thought about, but I always ask, who do I think would make a great consultant? And tonight I chose you. And the reason I did is because when you talk, everybody listens. And there's just such a mantle of leadership on you. There's just something about you, and I would love to work with you. So it would be my honor if you would just take this home and look at it. And then when we get together next time, if you've got any questions, we can chat about that. Would you be willing to take this home and look it over? It's nice to give out at least 2 packets every time that you have an appointment. Usually one's going to go to the hostess, and then one will go to your sparkler, something like that. So, okay. So then we get everybody through. Then you come back to the table. A couple people might have left, what are you going to do? But then you're like, okay, who stayed for the door prize? I hope you stayed. Where's everybody? Where did whatchamajigger go? All right, so it's the big moment. So shake, and give out tickets for everything that you want. Tickets for talking, for asking questions, answering questions, tickets for making purchases, for booking the next appointment. Use that to your advantage. I'm sure you've all seen me do that. So, ta-da, it's, the winner is so-and-so. And I like my door prize to be something pretty nice. But so let's say it's like worth like $24-ish, but it was like from the holiday collection last year. So yeah, it's kind of pricey, but it's been on my shelf for like a year. I probably am not going to sell it full price, so I'm willing to have that be a door prize. You know what I mean? So you can spend a little more on that door prize than you would like the little gift you give your hostess at the beginning. But like, I would not give like a satin hand set. Why? I want them to buy a satin hand set. I wouldn't give them an oil-free eye makeup remover. I want them to buy an oil-free eye makeup remover. You see what I'm saying? But I could give them a limited edition body lotion that they can't buy because that's not going to take anything out of my pocket. You feel me? Okay, so you give away the door prize, you thank everybody, laugh, and then they're mingling, and you just start, organizing your stuff, throwing away your trash, packing up, because you have to wait for them to all leave before you can finally talk to your hostess about her hostess credit. So that we will leave for another day, talking to your hostess and figuring out her credit, and then writing up her order and that kind of stuff. So, how do you feel? It's, to me, I like to practice things. So this is my thing. Like, this appeals to me. And I used to literally sit in the basement on the floor and talk out loud. I would practice. I would pretend I was at a party. I would go through the whole spiel. I would do my intro. I would talk about the products. I would, hold them. Everything, start to finish. I would practice the whole darn thing over and over and over. And I still, when I actually did it, I would still get nervous. I would still make mistakes. I would still forget things. It's going to happen. It's not the end of the world. But the more you practice, the more confident you'll be going in. And it is important to know in your head the structure, because let's say you get nervous and so you don't do a table close, you don't talk about the special offers, you don't do the individual close, you just are kind of like, okay, everybody's trying stuff and they're already filling out their sales tickets, and you're just kind of like, I'm just going to let it go. We'll just let them fit, do their thing. You're not going to book anybody. You're not going to hand out any recruiting packets, most likely. So take control back. You think, no, okay, this is the structure. This is the plan. My intro, jump in, have them try the product. We have the presentation. Then I have my table close. Then I have my individual close. That's how it's done. And that's how I'm doing it. Get that in your head and go for it. So I hope that this is encouraging. If you have questions, go ahead and post them. When you watch this, please like the video and say hi, say where you're watching from. Let me know if you learned anything, because even though this is a small group, we still need to get activity in order for everybody to see it. So thank you so much for your time. I think this is going to be a good series. And if there's something specific about parties that you want to learn, and I haven't mentioned that yet, put that in the comments as well so that I can put that on my list. So, all right. Thanks so much. Have a great evening. Bye.